Here to talk about the big contract extension that just happened with Jaden McDaniels. I mean, 5 years, $136 million, about a little over 26 a year. Great numbers. I mean, for a guy who's, on the way up and he's already one of the best defenders in the league, gives us a mismatch that we can spread around defensively to stop guys. I think the price came right about in the range that most guys his caliber were going. Devin Vassell from San Antonio, similar player, a guy that they're, upside guy, that same draft class. So great deal for the Timberwolves. Locks us up with our core for a long time. But then here comes the problem. Our core that's locked up is very expensive, almost one of the most expensive in the entire NBA. And now going into next season, we are going to be not only a luxury tax team, with which if you're a luxury tax team for 3 years in a row, your owner starts paying penalties. And before too long, you're paying penalties of maybe $2, maybe $3 for every $1 you're over the tax. So if you're $50 million over the tax, which might not be too hard to get, we're going to be that next year, or over the salary cap, you might end up paying $200 million in penalties. That's the type of trouble that you can get in just with the luxury tax. But we're going to far exceed that. We are going to be next year, going into the year, about $3 million under what's called the second apron, which is far past the luxury tax, far past the first apron, which has penalties like you don't get to use your mid-level exception, you can't do a sign-in trade, things like that. We're going to blow past that, and we're going to be in the second apron of penalties, which is brand new. And if you're in the second apron of penalties, which we will be next year, and unless we make a big move, at least the year after, if you're in that for 3 out of 5 years, your first-round draft pick gets moved to the end of the first. Those are the type of penalties that we're looking to be in. And like I said, next year, our salary cap is already at $187 million. At a modest guess, the second apron is going to be $190 million. So we're going to be $3 million under that, which sounds like we have some room, except we're going to have 4 roster spots still to fill to even make an NBA legal roster. And one of those roster spots is Mike Conley's roster spot. So he will no longer be on that roster, nor will Kyle Anderson. So without Slow-Mo and Conley, you're losing your 6th man and your starting point guard without filling them in. That alone is going to cost tens of millions of dollars sort of production, which will push us well past that second apron again. So it's going to be interesting to see what Tim Connolly does to make this work. There's obviously a possibility of a Gobert trade or a Karl Anthony Towns trade, but it's going to be very interesting to see how he makes it work, and it's exciting. But as of right now, every Timberwolf is happy on their roster with a nice new contract.